Hello, it's Miss Alejandra, and this is our second video in our Homeschooling 101 series. We hope that this series helps you find resources and information that you might need if you're wondering whether or not homeschooling is right for you and your family, and we hope that these videos help you make an informed decision. So today we're going to be talking about the difference between online learning and online classes versus homeschooling. They do sound similar, they are pretty different though. So we're going to be talking about the differences between that today. So for online learning, or what you might think of when you think of homeschooling, especially throughout the pandemic and what happened from moving learning from the classroom to the home, is online classes and online learning from a school are generally set by a teacher. The curriculum is set by a teacher remotely. There are still tests involved. Standardized testing is still part of it. And the curriculum and the guidelines are set by the school districts and the education system that the child is in. However, they are doing it from home. So with homeschooling, the biggest difference is that the parent is the teacher, and the parent is the one that decides the sort of curriculum and the type of homeschooling style that they might like or would prefer. And we will have a video later on describing the different types of homeschooling styles to help you find what you would enjoy more, because there are some very different styles and they are pretty different. So that is the biggest difference, is the parents are the full-time instructors, whereas with online schooling or online learning, online teachers are still the ones that manage a student or a child remotely. So to be a homeschooling parent or to be a homeschooling caregiver, you do not need to be a teacher. That is a common misconception. Of course, a teaching background always helps. However, once you pick the curriculum that you want, once you pick the style that you want, it's important, and it is the parent's job or the instructor's job in that sense to make sure that they're the ones that keep up with what the child is learning and learn it enough to be able to teach it to them and move on with the child. So it can be very active learning for both the instructor and the student and child, because a lot of times both are learning the information together. The instructor just needs to learn it a little bit earlier. So really there are a few differences between online learning and homeschooling. So let's see. With homeschooling, parents can either purchase or build their own curriculum, and we will also have a video later on about how to find a curriculum that might be right for you, because a lot of times if you find a style that you would like, you can find packages that already come pre-made, or you can make your own if you would prefer, and that is entirely fine. Whereas with online schooling, again, parents use a curriculum created by an established school and is monitored by a teacher in a school setting. And homeschooling can also incorporate faith-based learning if that is important to the parent. It can absolutely include that, and maybe a deciding factor for a lot of families that decide to homeschool, whereas with online schooling and in-person schooling, generally faith-based learning is not allowed in the curriculum. So that might be a deciding factor for you. And then also some states have different requirements in terms of homeschooling, and we will also have a video on the legal aspects of homeschooling in Illinois, where we are. And in terms of online schooling and online learning, the public online schools would administer state standardized testing and adhere to those state guidelines. So there are some differences. It can be a little daunting, but again, the biggest difference is the flexibility for the curriculum and the information being taught by the parent or the caregiver to the child. However, both offer obviously different levels of flexibility depending on whether or not that is something that's needed, whether or not a parent or caregiver is comfortable being the one leading that discussion or would prefer to have a teacher do the teaching. Those are all aspects of homeschooling versus online learning, but with homeschooling, the parent is really in charge of the information that is being given to the child and can therefore cater to the child and the child's different learning needs or abilities, or if there is something in particular that they would like to do. For example, one homeschooling style is road schooling, where you quite literally take your school on the road. That can't really be done that easily with in-person schooling or even just online virtual schooling through a school system. And those are just some of the differences that you would find. And we understand that it is very daunting for a parent or caregiver to suddenly have to be the one to learn the materials and to teach the materials to a child, but it can be done, and we are hoping that these videos will help you find those tools that you might need for that. So please leave us any comments down below. At the end of the series, we will be doing a Q&A video where we will take everyone's questions and answer them as best as we can. So please leave your comments, leave your questions in the comments where we can see them, and we will be sure to answer them in our last video. Thank you so much for watching, and please keep up with our website and our social media to find the next video in this series. Thank you. Bye.